Hi, everyone. We're back, and I'm with Kay Sweet, and he's a council member of Jackson City Council. And we were talking about Vista Point, and during the break, we got on the subject of signage. And, you know, a lot of people will go in there. You go ahead. You tell the people about you had to find out how many people drove in that area.
There's a sign that says 1,000 feet ahead, Vista Point, and 500 feet ahead, Vista Point, but it comes up really quickly.
Are those the Caltrans signs?
Those are the Caltrans signs. And since we're adding, since there is a Veterans Memorial there, we assumed we could get better traffic to the site if they knew there was a Veterans Memorial on Vista Point. So we wanted to add a Veterans Memorial sign just up the road, from that, and they turned us down because they said those signs had to be only at county lines. So I don't think it would be
maybe you could spray paint something on the
20 miles west of here. Yeah, road. Maybe on the Begovich sign. Anyway, we're gonna continue to work on that.
Okay.
To try to get better
so you're
signs.
Working with Caltrans. Anybody wants to write them a letter and tell them you'd like to see some signage, because you can miss it going by there.
You can.
But you're right. That spot gets a lot of traffic, and I almost feel like whenever I drive by it, if I'm down in the valley or wherever, I always feel a relief, because I kind of feel like we turn the corner and
you're home.
That's all back there, and now we're looking forward.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's the only rest stop on Highway 49 in Amador County, and it's
might be the only one on 88.
Yeah,
even
it's the only one on
because that's 4988 right there.
4988 right there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And well, let's talk about Jackson City Council meeting. You didn't have it last night because of the holiday.
It was a holiday yesterday, a banker's holiday, and so our meeting is tonight. It's a very light agenda. We've only got 3 items on the agenda. The first one that's coming up is the parking and circulation up on Court Street. One of the residents suggested that there was a site issue right there on Court Street.
I think we talked to Pat Crew about that. I think we were trying to get a change, take away maybe some parking spots from in front of their location, their house or whatever. And then I guess it got thrown kind of in a tizzy when the police chief maybe says, hey, that's where there's a crosswalk in there as well.
Well, I think the real issue was that not everybody in the neighborhood had a chance to comment on the issue, and since parking spaces either were going to be eliminated or moved, so we've given them that opportunity, and the suggestion on the council's agenda tonight is to eliminate one of the spaces in front of that particular residence, so there's a better sight line as traffic is coming up the side street, and then add another space further on down. So there'll be a net loss of 0, but the parking spaces will be located in different places for better visibility. The other item on the couple items, we've got there's a parking lot at the old Book Mine store on Argonaut. A new organization is moving in. They need to put some ADA compliant parking spaces in there, and they would like to move in before that gets accomplished. And the council's going to decide whether they're going to allow that or not. Just to defer that.
Will it be at their own risk?
No, it'll be just at their risk.
Meaning, if they're not ADA compliant. Then
well, at the moment they're paying rent on their current location. They're paying rent on their new location, and they haven't yet been able to.
That's really hard.
Get that complete. The parking lot complete. So
rent is a big cost in a business.
Absolutely. So I'm sure the council will take positive consideration there. And then ADA has a lot of regulations relative to businesses, and we know that in a variety of ways here, and where we have older buildings and newer buildings. And sometimes the city and city staff make a decision regarding ADA compliance and makes an interpretation of those regulations. And on occasion, the builder, the developer, the property owner appeals that. And typically, or at the moment anyway, the appeal comes to the city council. So there is a provision that allows for us to have an appeals board that is before the city council, taking the city council out of it altogether. And the reason is that city council members are I'm retired from owning a bed and breakfast and being a real estate agent, and others are.
That's what you know too much about.
Well, so the suggestion is to have an appeals board where there's two people that have ADA issues,
okay.
Physical disabilities.
All right.
Two people that are contractors that understand construction and those needs, and a citizen at large, and that appeals board would take those appeals and be the final arbiter on that kind of a decision. So it has people that have some expertise in that or some knowledge about those issues, as opposed to just the general city council.
Well,
and that's up for discussion.
I'm a little curious because ADA law being what it is, if you allow a variance to it or whatever the language is, I'm not certain what the language would be. Does that hold up in a courtroom? Would that hold up? Or?
Well, I'm assuming that it would, and it's I can't give you a specific because I haven't been involved in any of those issues. I could guess at something, but there is an opportunity for people to appeal a decision by a building inspector relative to that.
Right.
And so if the appeal is a valid appeal and I guess meets criteria and within certain limits of the ADA regulations.
Right.
So some things, I guess, apparently are up to interpretation.
Okay.
And that's the only. Then there's a couple of closed session items.
Okay. Yeah, a couple of closed session items. I was wondering a little bit now. You probably heard, and we don't know, but at the Board of Supervisors, they're talking about the museum, and it sounds like there's probably a great possibility that that'll be turned over to the Historical Society to start some restoration work in there. I'm sure you'd probably like that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what that agenda item is, but I know that that's been under discussion for some time, and there's some, obviously from the Board of Supervisors perspective, there's some legal issues, but from the Historical Society's perspective, I think it will get them out from underneath some of the supervision of the supervisors and allow them to allow the Historical Society to be making some decisions without having to go through another layer of administration to get some funding for that. I personally have been asked to help them write some grants, if possible, to get that building earthquake compliant.
Right, and I think what I'm trying to say is I think people would love to have the museum here once again, where you could go and visit. It was a great place to visit.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, one of the very first signs we tore down at Vista Point was a sign that said the museum was open, and it hadn't been open for 4 years.
Okay. All right. Well, we have to run. Stay with us. There's more news on the other side of the break.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.